The flowering jacaranda tree announces the arrival of late spring. As the warmer weather arrives, the tree bursts into flower. The jacaranda tree isn't native to my country, but over time, the tree has seeded and grown roots in our hearts. Many Australians love the tree dearly, and we mark the seasons of our lives by its cycles. I know it's November when I look up into a bright blue sky and I see the trees' long bell-shaped flowers, which in my imagination make wonderful fairy trumpets and elegant bonnets. Do you have a favourite tree, Wonder Weavers? I'd love you to share with us below. Hello Wonder Weavers, I hope that you're really well and enjoying a beautiful week so far. I started renovating the bedroom this week and I can't wait to share with you my progress. In the meanwhile, next week is Folktale week and I'm wondering, I know that many of you out there are interested in folktales and myths, and I'm curious, are you participating? You can follow Folktale Week on Instagram and I've put a link to that profile in the description box below. I will be sharing next week sometime a little creation that I've been working on the past few weeks in celebration of Folktale Week, and I hope you enjoy it. So I'm curious, Wonder Weavers, do you have a favourite fairy tale or myth? And if you do have one, I'd love you to share with us in the description box below. Or perhaps you'd love to share how your latest project is going. I always love reading your stories and learning about your latest creations. So, Wonder Weavers, it's time to get creative. I hope you enjoy this week's blog. Up we go to the 3rd floor and into what I imagine will become a bedroom. It looks pretty plain at the moment. I start the mini bedroom makeover by laying the floor. I'm following a very similar process to the 2nd floor. I'm using craft sticks and PVA. The technique is quite simple. Following the dimensions of the room, I cut the craft sticks to size. And then using PVA glue, I glue them in rows, starting from the back. While cutting the craft sticks, I noticed that some were bent. Some were only slightly bent and I was able to flatten them with a book. Those that were heavily bent, I put aside. I'll use them in another project. Once dry, I paint the floor with raw sienna acrylic paint for texture and to help the paint flow. I've added a little bit of water to the acrylic paint. While the paint is drying, I move on to the skirting boards. Again, I'm making paper mache boards. I repurpose the back of an art pad and I've cut up cardboard. Just like the parlour, the skirting boards will be tall, so the height of my boards will be around 2.5 centimetres. And just like the skirting boards of the parlour, I use the strip method. I've torn up strips of paper and I'm gluing them to the board's frame using a PVA glue and water mixture. After much deliberation, I finally choose wallpaper, and I settle on another William Morris design. This is Floral Blue. The design is quite similar to White Chrysanthemum, the one I used in the parlour. When I saw Floral Blue, I instantly fell in love with the colour. I think blue is a perfect colour for a bedroom. It instantly makes me feel calm and serene. The image of Floral Blue is available in the public domain and Raw Pixel have remastered it. I've placed a link to Raw Pixel's website in the description box below. Just like White Chrysanthemum, I transform Floral Blue into a surface pattern digitally. I then print out at least 3 copies of the pattern. Following the dimensions of the bedroom's walls, I need approximately 1 A4 sheet per wall. And as I learnt while working in the parlour, it is best to print out more copies than you actually need, as you might, as I have done, make errors when measuring, drawing, and then cutting the sheet up. I liberally apply glue to the wall and then carefully place the paper on the wall. I've decided to install a fireplace in the room, but in contrast to the parlour, this one will be smaller. When making this fireplace, I used Jane Harrob's bedroom fireplace as a rough guide. And as you can see, I'm using black cardstock, balsa wood strips, and metal wire. If you would like to learn step by step how to make the fireplace front, hearth and grate, I really recommend that you read Jane's book. The book not only includes measurements, but templates. I'm making some modifications to Jane's overall design, and this is primarily because I don't have all of the materials that Jane lists in the book, and I would like the fireplace to be a little bit more Victorian in style. Commonly made of cast iron metal, Victorian fireplaces were often small and ornate. To decorate the front of the fireplace, I'm using a metal embellishment. With jewellery cutters, I cut off the hoops so that the embellishment fits perfectly. The fireplace will include a top shelf, and in contrast to Jane's design, I've decided to create a clay applique. After rolling flat a ball of polymer clay, I emboss a pattern from lace that I thrifted into the clay. I then cut a rectangular section of the design, following the dimensions of the shelf. After baking the applique in the oven for around 10 minutes, I then glue it to a craft stick. Then glue 2 balsa lengths together and glue them to one side of the applique. I then gesso and paint all of the wooden and clay parts of the fireplace black. To imitate the shiny surface of cast iron, I paint the cardstock with matte medium. Next, I add small strips of metal wire to the grate front and ashtray front. The wire I'm using is fine beading wire, which is 25 millimeters. After gluing the wooden trims to the front of the fireplace, I glue the embellishment and a short length of black beading cord towards the middle of the back of the fireplace. Adding a clay applique to the top shelf of the fireplace increases its weight. So to make sure that it's well supported, I create a frame, which is simply 3 balsa wood lengths around 1 centimeter wide, cut to size. And I glue these 3 lengths along the edges of the back of the fireplace's front, so to the cardstock. Then I glue the shelf. As a final touch, I brush white pastel along the back of the fireplace to give it an ashy-like appearance. I think it's going to sit nicely in the room. Now it is time to add the skirting boards and add a few final touches to the room. I glue the skirting boards into place and fill in any gaps between the floors and between the boards with strips of paper and the glue and water mixture. Once dry, I lightly sand the boards. And this time you will notice that I've added architrave moulding around the door. The mouldings are simply balsa wood cut to size. And in the corners of the doorway and at particular intervals along the skirting boards, I add clay appliques for decoration. I made these in a similar way to the one I made for the fireplace. Finally, I paint the skirting boards and the architrave moulding. Phase 1 of the room is complete. And can you see our new friend resting by the fireplace? It's Muffin the cat. So I hope you enjoyed meeting Muffin Wonder Weavers, and I'm really happy with how the bedroom is evolving so far. Next week I will be sharing with you a little special project that I've been working on. It's actually a group collaboration, and I want to thank Lisa from Miniature Things by Lisa for the invitation. So if you haven't already, I've added a link to her channel in the description box below. But I'll be sharing with you my part of this project next week. In the meanwhile, Wonder Weavers, take care, stay well, don't forget to play. Ciao. What do you think of the new room, Robin? What is it that you say, Robin? You like the room, but you're not sure about Muffin the cat? You'll be fine, Robin.